Okay, so now we're in 5.2b, or not 2b. And in 5.2b, there's several things to deal with, but specifically, we introduce a new concept with the circles. So we're going to spend significant time talking about circles. Okay, now when you have a circle, you've got this center point. Okay, now the center point is, well, if I were to take a little string, tie it onto a pencil, and I were to put that string in the middle, and then go all the way around with the string, that would be the center point. Okay, so it kind of defines the outside. Now if we have a line that goes through that center point and touches both edges, that's called a diameter. Okay, and if we have a line that goes just from that center point to an outside surface in a straight line, we'll call that a radius. So the diameter really is made up of two radiuses. Okay, or divided by 2, the radius is equal to the diameter divided by 2. So you have to be really careful with these questions to make sure that we deal with, or we pick the right formula for what we're given. Okay, and here are different formulas, and we're introducing this new thing called pi. And I'm not going to get into pi too much, there's lots of info out on it. For us, pi is approximately 3.14, and it's a very interesting number. It actually has an infinite number of decimal places, and it never repeats itself. And it's one of those numbers that we just find that has a lot of significance. But we don't care about that. We care that it's approximately 3.14. And so to say approximately, how we approximate something is we use these squiggly equal signs. So that means it's kind of sort of equal. Okay? So let's say we want to find the circumference. Now, the circumference is essentially the perimeter of a circle. That's what the circumference is. It's the perimeter of a circle. So it just has a fancy name. Okay? So the perimeter of a circle, or the circumference of a circle, let's say we want to find that, given that its radius is equal to, say, 2 meters. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to pick the right formula to find the circumference of a circle given a radius. We go, okay, well, here's a circumference, right? But this circumference only works if we're given a diameter. So we go here, well, here's a circumference. This one works with radius. So we're going to use that. So circumference is equal to 2 times pi times the radius, 2. And when you're multiplying things together, 2 times pi times 2 is going to be the same thing as 2 times 2 times pi. Just like if you take 2 times 3 times 4 is the same thing as 4 times 3 times 2, which is the same thing as 3 times 2 times 4. Basically, these things can move around. So if we wanted an exact answer, we take the 2 times 2, which is 4, and the pi there. The pi is exact. This is an exact answer. Okay, and we would put meters there. Sorry, I forgot the meters. Okay, so we want meters. But if we want the actual approximation, sorry, there seems to be a glare there. We take on our calculator, and we take the 4, and every calculator, scientific calculator, should have a pi button. If you don't have a pi button, you can use the 3.14. Just realize that because the calculator is using more decimal places, your answer might be slightly off from the back by, you know, a few decimal places. Nothing too bad. So the circumference is approximately 12.56, and let's say 6 meters. Okay, so this is an exact answer, this is an approximate answer. Okay, so now let's say we're given another problem where we want to find the circumference given the diameter is 4 inches. Okay, well, now we're going to use this formula up here, c equals pi d, because we're given the diameter. So we simply go c equals pi times 4, which is 4 pi. Don't forget the inches. Okay. And of course, just like before, funny I picked it this way, right? 12.566, but this time it's in inches. Okay. All right. So now let's say we're given a circle and whose radius is a 3, and we want to find its area right there. So area. So basically we want to find that space. Okay? Right, maybe we're going to tile it. We need to know how much tile we need. So we plug in a 3 for r. So we go order of operations. 3 squared is 9. That would be 9 pi, just because it's typically we put the number before we put, well, pi is not a variable, but before we would put our symbolic stuff. So usually the numbers come before the symbols. But pi is a number. Okay, so this would be exact, say unit of centimeters. We're talking about an area, so that's going to be centimeters squared. And where that comes from is that puppy right there. Because really that centimeters is trapped in there, and that centimeters is also being squared. But we're going to deal with that more at the end of the term when we deal with dimensional analysis. But I can simply take 9 times pi and get an approximate answer. So this would be 28.274 centimeters squared. Okay. So again, I have an exact answer and I have an approximate answer. All right. Now let's say we are given a volume. The difference with a volume is like a basketball. Okay? So a basketball has volume to it. I should have had a little basketball handy. But it's got a volume to it. Okay? Volume's a little bit different, even more. We can't find a volume on this flat circle. Okay? When we see a sphere drawn, typically we see it looks like this, right, like that. Maybe they'll go from the center out to the radius, and they'll give us a radius of, say, let's go 3 centimeters. So let's find the volume of this puppy. So we're going to use the volume over here. So volume equals formula, that is 4/3 pi. And we're going to plug a 3 in for that r. And it's cubed. Notice it's cubed. So when you put the centimeters in here, we're going to end up with centimeters cubed. Okay? So we're going to have cubic units on a volume. Alright, so 3 cubed, well, 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. And again, you can move the numbers out, so I'm going to move it out over here, put the pi over here, and this is just going to help with the simplification, because essentially 27 can be rewritten as 3 times 9, that is 27. So that way I see that my 3's are going to cancel, and I'm left with 4 times 9. So the volume is going to equal 36 pi centimeters cubed. Okay. And of course, I can get an approximate answer. Simply type in 36 times pi, and the approximate answer is going to be 113.097 centimeters cubed. Okay, so exact answer, approximate answer.